Scott and Grant out front. Durant, Scott, Malcolm Grant, Darius Adams, Adrian Thomas, and the big man in the middle, Reggie Johnson, the sophomore from Durham, North Carolina. For Georgia Tech, their starting lineups, and probably one of the top players in its conference. Iman Shumpert at the guard with Mo Miller starting out front. Lance Storrs starting his 5th straight game. Jason Morris and Daniel Miller. So 2 Millers in the starting 5 for Georgia Tech. They come in here at 12-17, 4-11 in conference play. Win or lose, they're going to be in the 11th spot of the tournament. And of course, they are getting ready to take on a Miami team, Eddie, that they matched up with pretty well, especially using pressure tactics, turning the ball over and getting themselves back in the ball game.
Well, down 21, Georgia Tech was, Steve, at Miami with 13.5 minutes to play and decide the full court press and ultimately had the shot to win the game and lose by 2. So I would expect to see a lot of full court pressure here today from the Yellow Jackets.
I'm talking to the Miami staff. They're a little worried about how their team will start out of the gate. Their road record out of the gate has not been good. They fell down by 21 against Florida State a week ago, and they know that Georgia Tech is going to be coming out after them. Frank Hayes, of course, in his 7th season, and Paul Hewitt in his 11th here at Georgia Tech. The ACC Network is presented in high definition where available by Raycom Sports. Steve Martin, Eddie Fogler here this afternoon. We're glad to be part of the second game of the doubleheader. It is Boston College beating Wake Forest. That puts Boston College in the 5th seed in the ACC tournament that starts Thursday in Greensboro. Georgia Tech would be 11th. Miami can finish anywhere from 9th, where they are now, to 7th, or as low as 10th. Mo Miller on the wing. And Miami comes out in the zone. It's their favored defense, and especially against a team that is challenged to shoot from the outside. Shot from the wing goes off. Reggie Johnson, the first of what could be many rebounds this afternoon.
Good defensive possession for Miami, forcing the outside shot. As you mentioned, Steve, Georgia Tech, not a particularly good shooting team.
Malcolm Grant to Durant, Scott out front. They'll handle the ball for the most part, and they'll look for big 42 inside. And here's a foul on Shumpert. Iman Shumpert picks up his first for Paul Hewitt in his 11th year. 189 wins, a Final Four appearance in 2004, and they appeared in the ACC championship game a year ago against Duke.
Careless foul by Shumpert, unnecessary already with a quick foul. The Yellow Jackets have to have Shumpert on the court for 35 minutes or more here today.
The drama begins for Paul Hewitt if he picks up his second. Grant out front takes the deep 3, and Mo Miller influences the rebound. Here's Shumpert on the run for Georgia Tech. He called the bank, gets the 3, and the Yellow Jackets are on the board.
Well, I don't know whether he called it or not. He was actually running in to follow it up. It was way off when it came out of his hands, but it banks in. It counts.
Well, the key for Georgia Tech is getting down court before Miami can set up in that zone. Darius Adams, down low to Johnson. There's help from Storrs at the top. Here comes Durant Scott on the drive. And Miller comes away with a rebound. Shumpert will push it for the Yellow Jackets. He'll take a 3. And the rebound knocked out of bounds by Georgia Tech. Our only shot this afternoon. The bank is open.
Now Shumpert misses. Makes it. It looks like he's going to miss it. He tried to follow it up and had a nice smile after the ball went in. Last possession, Steve, Georgia Tech is doubling the low post when it goes into Johnson.
Here comes Grant inside. They try to force it to Johnson. Mo Miller knocks the ball away. Shumpert on the run, pulls up with that elbow jumper, and it's 5-0.
Well, that's 3 transition shots in a row by Shumpert. Nice pull-up in the lane. That one is going to be about automatic. Georgia Tech coming out in a 3/4 court zone press, trying to turn over an error-prone Miami team.
Darius Adams gets Miami on the board, and it's 5-3. Lance Storrs playing his last game here in Atlanta for Georgia Tech. Ball deflected into the post, and Johnson comes up with a steal. Miami has a chance to lead or take a lead on a 3 or take a tie here. There's the runner for the tie, and it's all knotted up at 5 thanks to Malcolm Grant.
Malcolm Grant, more of a slasher than a shooter, doesn't get to the foul line much, but a scorer, a nice bank shot, easy pull-up.
When he does get to the foul line, he'll make them. He's the ACC's top free throw shooter, close to 90%. Lance Storrs. There's the field goals early. Shumpert has both for Georgia Tech, a 3 and a 2. Shot clock down to 10. Storrs from the wing. The 3 will not go. The rebound knocked away from Daniel Miller. Got a scrap for it. He picks it up. And Georgia Tech maintains control. Good hustle by Miller.
Great play. 6'11", getting on the floor for the loose ball. Extra possession. You know, in the zone, Steve, it's easier to cover Shumpert. They use a lot of ball screens, but there's always another defender in the zone to guard Shumpert.
They tried to get Shumpert inside, and Morris threw the ball away. Here's Durant Scott, the 3, boarded by Storrs. Georgia Tech will push it. Mo Miller steps inside the 3. Thought he had Daniel Miller in the lane. It's intercepted by Adrian Thomas.
One touch by Johnson. They double the low post. Miami now going outside, shooting perimeter shots, not looking inside.
Darius Adams out front. Grant has it. Catches a screen from Johnson. Not much movement in the Miami offense right now. 5 on the shot clock for Darius Adams. Shumpert with a rebound. Iman Shumpert looking to become the 4th ACC player to lead his team in scoring, in rebounds, in assists, and in steals. Wow. That's quite an accomplishment. Shumpert in the paint. Triple team there by the zone, comes out of there with it. Mo Miller to the top. Mo Miller. All through the hands of Storrs. He stepped on the sideline, and it's a turnover, and we've got a timeout on the floor. So nerves plaguing both teams here early. We're tied at 5. In scoring, in rebounds, and assists and steals.
Steve, he might be doing more for his team than any other player in the league. I'm not sure he'll win the award, but what an unbelievable season.
On the press, Mo Miller with the steal. Shumpert with the 3. He's got all the points Georgia Tech has right now, 8-5.
Frank Caife, an unhappy camper on the sideline. Careless play and pass by Miami. Turn up the heat, Georgia Tech.
With the ball now, Ryan Brown into the ball game. He had 18 in Miami's win over Maryland the other night. A huge win for the Hurricanes and a very, very tough loss for the Terrapins. Brown misses the shot. Also into the ball game now, Julian Gamble. Another low post presence. He'll step through, had an opening, won't shoot it. He'll give it to Scott, or Grant rather, who missed the 3. And Shumpert has the rebound. Georgia Tech by 3.
And Miami becoming 3-point shot happy.
Shumpert with his second 3 of the afternoon. 11-5. Georgia Tech last year, they went all the way to the ACC championship game. They were not in the top 25 of the country when they went into the NCAA tournament last year. So you can do damage late in the season. There's this steal by Jason Morris. And another Miami turnover here early.
First this zone, Georgia Tech would like to get it to the free throw line area if possible.
They're living on the perimeter right now. Lance Storrs hits another triple. 4 of their 5 field goals have been from 3-point range. It's a 9-0 run for the Yellow Jackets, who are looking to atone for their loss on February 3rd. Iman Shumpert having a strong day.
Well, the double team at the half-court line locks Miami in, and a nice steal, but outstanding quick pass back to Shumpert, and he hits another one. He's feeling it here today. Maurice Miller knowing where Shumpert was at all times. Mo Miller.
Iman Shumpert for Georgia Tech. Leads the team in scoring, rebound, assists, and steals. But his favorite subjects are creative writing and broadcast journalism. Eddie, he'll be over here as fast as you can tell.
Well, you can have my job. How about yours, Steve?
I won't give this up for anything. That's an you need to know, presented by Sun Life Financial. Annuities, employee benefits, life insurance. Sooner or later, you'll know our name.
You know, and they play Shumpert, Paul Hewitt does, at the top of this three-quarter court press. Quick, long arms, great anticipation.
Glenn Rice is into the ballgame now for Georgia Tech, and he knocked that ball out of bounds. And now with the ball in front court, you see Tech will relax into a man-to-man.
I think it's more of a zone here last couple possessions. It might even, it's kind of a multiple defense, I think, here, Steve.
Here's the shot from the outside by Adrian Thomas. He's an excellent three-point shooter and pulls Miami to within 6.
Last two possessions looked like Georgia Tech was in kind of a man-to-man combination zone. It might be some sort of junk defense.
Here's Storrs on the wing. Mufon Udofia is in the ballgame now, replacing Mo Miller at the point. That allows Shumpert to play off the ball, as well as Storrs. They look for Nate Hicks in the post. Shumpert trapped over there. 10 on the shot clock. Into Glenn Rice. Shumpert for 3. His first miss from that distance today. Gamble gets the rebound. Miami runs out. Durant Scott. Johnson in the post. Udofia immediately goes there on the catch. Inside, though, they get short distance to Gamble, and he gets picked on the stick back. Rice elevates for 3. No. Rebound comes away to Johnson. I saw Rice last week at NC State. He came into the game, threw up 2 air balls, and then really settled down, had a strong ball game. Johnson boards the miss for Durant Scott and can't hang on.
Miami very confused offensively, struggling versus the set Georgia Tech defense, taking quick shots in transition, not getting very good looks.
Drive Udofia. Hicks picks it up. Plenty of time left. Shumpert for 3. No. Johnson gets the rebound. Well, as Eddie said, Miami would love to just settle in, throw the ball into Johnson and watch it work. And space out the perimeter. Ryan Brown hits the 3 from the wing.
Ryan Brown, 6 threes in Miami's last game. True freshman. Very good looking player out of Georgia.
Hinesville, Georgia to be exact.
Got a 3-point shooting contest on this court here today, Steve. Both teams settling for perimeter jump shots.
Had a short timeout here taken by Paul Hewitt. Presents ACC Home Team Traditions. Georgia Tech will be playing in a new arena in 2 seasons. The Hank McCamish Pavilion is scheduled to open for the 2012-2013 season. It'll be built where Alexander Memorial Coliseum is presently located. That's today's ACC Home Team Tradition, brought to you by Champion. For other great ACC basketball traditions and moments, go to theacc.com/vault. Champion. It's how you play. And I actually mispronounced that. It's the Hank McCamish Pavilion. This is actually the McCamish Basketball Complex. It's always had that name. And Alexander Memorial Coliseum. Turnaround there by Storrs doesn't go. Miami looking to get their feet underneath them now. Ryan Brown hoping to deliver that. He's pulled Miami to within 3. It's a 3-point fest. We've seen 1 2-point basket, I think, in this game. All knocked away. I got to credit Georgia Tech's defense. Whatever it is, matchup, multiple. They're doing the job here, confusing Miami here early. Timeout on the court. Teams have been spawned in this building.
Some great teams against Steve, some great players that have played in this building. We're halfway through the first half. Georgia Tech has taken 12 shots, 10 of them from 3, 7 of 12 from 3 shots taken for Miami. Neither team has taken a free throw.
17 made field goals in this game, and 9 of them in threes. Here's another one, and it's a bank. This one from Duran Scott.
Well, that equals out, I guess, Shumpert's bank 3 to start the game.
That ties it up. Start quoting interest rates now.
You know, a lot more zone being played in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And then in years past, ball screening, a big part of offense today versus man-to-man defenses. Ball screens are basically taken out when teams zone. So I think you're going to see this more of a national trend, not just only in the Atlantic Coast Conference. More zone.
Here's Rice, drives in. The rebound comes to Thomas. 9-0 Hurricane run as they've tied it on a 3 from Duran Scott at 14. Officials today: Roger Ayers, Brian Dorsey, and Sean Corbin. Survey the zone. Thomas for 3 more, his second triple of the day, and Miami now leads it 17-14.
Well, it's always nice when you start to make those threes. It's a huge help. Miami shooting 38% from 3 coming in here today.
Daniel Miller into Canyon, holds, he tries the dunk, but hit the back of the iron. Rebound comes away to Miami. Scott steers his way into the lane. Thomas, same spot. Different result. Rice with a rebound. Fast moving first half, and as Eddie said, we haven't gone to the foul line yet for either side.
Both teams are getting too quick, too impatient offensively.
Here's Shumpert. We're going to get our first foul shot here as he gets the basket and a chance to tie it up with a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
Well, Shumpert catches it in the left corner. The pump fake to get the defender off balance, and he drives Gamble. Gamble has slow feet, not able to stay in front of Iman Shumpert.
13 of Georgia Tech's 16 points have come from Shumpert this afternoon, including 3 3-pointers. And Shumpert on the line. Shumpert is one of several very good foul shooters that Georgia Tech has, which could become a factor as the day goes along. And there, now that I've jinxed him.
Well, Shumpert only averaged 10 points a game last year as a sophomore, has increased his output to 17 points a game, one of the most improved players in the league from the scoring standpoint.
Georgia Tech more in a true zone now. Reggie Johnson gets his first work out of the low post directly to the basket, and he scores.
Nice left hand with the big body, creates the angle, doesn't have to jump very high, just bodies the defender out.
Shumpert drops it down for Daniel Miller for the dunk.
Well, he shoots it from 3, he drives it to the basket, he dishes it. Unbelievable. What a year Iman Shumpert against stacked defenses, Steve.
And he'll get a steal before the day is done. Here's Johnson moving underneath, and they're going to say he traveled. Roger Ayers with the call. Turnover for Miami here with 7:14 left to go. We got a timeout on the court. The Yellow Jackets penetrate, and Daniel Miller knows what to do with the ball inside.
On the floor, 3 of 6 from 3. And really, it's fun to watch Iman Shumpert play basketball.
See our GMC scoreboard. Virginia with a big win over Maryland yesterday in that traditional rivalry. Mo Miller's 3 doesn't go. And of course, earlier today, Boston College 84-68 over Wake Forest, and they lock up the 5th seed in the ACC tournament. Here's the drive by Duran Scott. It'll count, plus the foul. And Miami now seems to have gotten their feet underneath them. Mo Miller will get the foul.
Well, nice drive by Scott. Boy, the backcourt of Scott and Grant is outstanding.
And closed captioning for today's telecast is provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. I took in a little bow action on the way to the game today.
There you go. Scott, a transfer from Villanova. You know, red shirts sitting out helps him. Reggie Johnson, a red shirt. I'm a big believer that a 5th year, a red shirt giving you a 5th year is very beneficial to basketball players. You see it all the time in football. You don't see it a whole lot in basketball.
Of course, you used to see it in the 70s when freshmen weren't eligible to begin with. They didn't get that extra year of eligibility. Here comes Rice. Towards his own miss. Gets it to Miller, and he got fouled on the way up.
Nice catch. Excuse me, Steve. Nice catch. Good hands by the 6'11 redshirt freshman. Another young man who was going the redshirt route. The penetration off the miss by Rice. Good follow. Great pass. Good pump fake. Gets the defender up. Here's a young man who's leading his team in shot blocks. Playing more, playing with more confidence. He's going to be a real solid player in this league. Has to improve his stamina, Steve, his strength a little bit, his touch a little bit, but he's got good feel for the game.
Well, he has 14 blocks the last 4 games, so he's established himself on the defensive end, as you said. Don't forget the ACC tournament from the ACC network. Where else would you go? 12 noon on Thursday. Miller misses both free throws. Reggie Johnson comes up with a rebound for Miami. Here's Ryan Brown.
A little surprised Georgia Tech not pressing full court more. It's been a 3/4 court press.
More back to a man, but beating that to the corner is going to be DeQuan Jones. DeQuan trying to come off an injury. Inside, the ball stolen by Jones. As Rice lost control, up court, pass comes. Ryan Brown will recycle it back out front to Grant. Under 6 to go. Turnovers, each team has 5. Reggie Johnson throws one at the rim in hope of a foul, didn't get it. Morris boards it. Udofia in the break. The shot will not go. The dunk does not count. There will be a foul on Miami coming back, and that foul is going to be on Malcolm Grant.
Well, Reggie Johnson again getting double teamed. He's got to do one of two things, Steve. He's got to make a quick move to the basket, or anticipate the double team and make a better pass out on the fast break. Pretty darn good defense right there by Miami, but Udofia draws the foul.
Mufon Udofia goes to the line. He's a sophomore from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And only 12 turnovers in the last 12 games for Udofia, so he takes good care of the basketball. That's where Georgia Tech has made their major improvement this year. The ACC is now on Facebook. Log on to Facebook and become a fan of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Get breaking news, conference updates, and connect with other ACC fans from around the world. Rice comes off the floor now. Lance Storrs is back.
Georgia Tech 0 of 4 from the free throw line, really struggling at the stripe.
Udofia breaks through. It's 24-19 Miami, and here comes full court pressure from the Yellow Jackets. Darius Adams. And we got a whistle on a foul coming up. It's going to be on Morris. Didn't give the offensive player any room to come down.
Well, I got to give a kudos out to Jason Morris, his prep school coach up in Connecticut, the young man named Fred Benjamin, who had the honor of coaching at Vanderbilt. Said hello to Jason before the game and told him I coached his prep school coach in college. Got a nice smile.
And today's GMC scoreboard in the SEC. Kentucky a winner today over Tennessee. Some pretty good finals down the way. Some early conference tournament play as well. The ACC opens Thursday. Gamble inside, working hard, and draws the foul.
Miami needs to do more of that inside. Gamble, Johnson punching in there. Miller, the only resistance available for Georgia Tech. Nice post feed here. They need to look in more inside outside combination with their three-point shooting. If they can establish the low post, it'll be very rewarding.
Lance Storrs comes up with that foul, sending Gamble to the line. Gamble is yet another recruit that Frank Haith has found out of the state of North Carolina. Reggie Johnson from Winston-Salem, Julian's from Durham.
Yes, Frank, a North Carolina native, went to Elon College as an undergraduate.
He knows what the ACC is all about from his time in Burlington, North Carolina. 20-5 Miami run to take a 25-19 lead over Georgia Tech. Iman Shumpert out front goes to Morris. Udofia into Miami zone inside. Shumpert to Miller, and he will score.
Good, great pass by Shumpert, number one. Number two, excellent hands by Miller. You can't teach somebody to catch. You're born with good hands. With that size and hands, again, he's going to develop into a very solid player.
Miami beats the clock by a second getting into front court. Now Georgia Tech goes back into a zone. Gamble Turns, goes baseline, and scores. Nice play by Julian Gamble.
Good quick spin. Miller doesn't have quick feet in the post. He needs to back off and slide his feet better defensively.
Turnover by the Yellow Jackets. Shumpert got a little loose with the ball. Darius Adams looking for an option and calls timeout.
Timeout, Miami.
So Miami calls time as they force the turnover. Shumpert out of control. Let's watch Gamble again.
Well, great quick spin, but Miller needs to back off. Once the post catches it, Miller needs to back off, create space to play the drive. He's tall enough to challenge the shot, but not quick enough to play the drive.
From humble beginnings in 1954, when Everett Case at NC State won the very first ACC title. Last year's winner, the Duke Blue Devils. The ACC tournament's become the granddaddy of all tournaments, as Jim Valvano said. Be sure to mark the calendar as the ACC Network starts coverage Thursday at noon and takes you through the championship game on Sunday. For more information on the tournament, go to theacc.com. This game will determine a lot about what happens as far as the first round. A Miami win puts them in 7. Get the rest of the scenarios here in a minute. Here is Adrian Thomas with his 3rd three-pointer of the game and lifts Miami to a 9-point lead, 30-21.
Well, that was excellent press offense. They bring up the post up the sideline, hit the middleman, take it on a fast break, create numbers. Well done.
Largest lead of the game now for the Hurricanes, who suffered early. They were down 14-6, 14-8 actually. And then they went on an 11-point run. And they maintained the lead ever since. Here's the 3 from Storrs. He gets it.
Inside out, they hit the high post. Daniel Miller punches it to the corner. Storrs wide open. Ball goes to the middle. Miami ought to let Miller go one-on-one. They ought to clamp up on the perimeter, see if the big guy can play from the high post.
6 points for Lance Storrs. Georgia Tech cuts the Hurricanes lead to 6. Durant Scott out front. Darius Adams with him. Here's Adrian Thomas. Frank Haith has rotated back to his original starting 5. Johnson works the post area. Bodies fly when he goes through. Udofia now comes away with a loose ball. We've got an injured player. Looks like Lance Storrs at the other end holding his ankle. Plenty of emotion in the final day of the Thriller Dome. They'll close this building for 2 years. They'll replenish it with the McCamish Pavilion.
The medical staff at Georgia Tech.
Rice tries to steal from Durant Scott. Take a look at our principal financial edge of the game, and you talk about Miami. Frank Haith and his assistants want to get points in the paint. Paul Hewitt and his team wants points off turnovers, which helped them to come within 2 down in Miami. Points off turnovers is coming over pretty well for Georgia Tech, but 2 points in the paint for Miami. Their outside shooting's been better. Reggie Johnson boards the miss. Shumpert steals it from him. Here's Morris at the rim, scored a basket and the foul. No basket. Offensive foul, Morris.
Steve, that looked like a good call to me by Sean Corbin, unless the defender was under the basket taking the charge. It would be a no call. If Reggie Johnson is under the hoop, close call.
Offensive foul constitutes a turnover that wiped out a basket by Jason Morris. Inside, Johnson blocked by Michael Miller. Recovered here by Miami. Here's Scott. Shot clock down to 5. Adrian Thomas covered up by Udofia, gets some distance, and hits the 2.
Well, that's great defense. Give Georgia Tech credit. Probably the best defensive possession of the half, and Miami scores.
Adrian Thomas did a good job getting separation from the defender.
Step back jumper, tough shot.
Thomas, one of those great stories. 2 years hampered by injuries, got a 6th season of eligibility. Good student. Here's Rice for 3. No. Rebound. Fought for. Johnson gets it.
Crowd wanted a foul on the shot. Paul Hewitt about to take his coat off on the sideline.
Nice basket by Malcolm Grant. The short floater off the baseline.
How do you guard Grant? Great shooter, puts it on the floor, pulls up, very difficult to guard.
He leads the ACC in three-pointers made per game at almost 3.
Well, that's the shot. The last one he took is the one you want to give up, the mid-range jumper.
Is Shumpert, who's been quiet after scoring 13 points to begin this game.
Georgia Tech's got a dribble, penetrate, and pitch. You can't score just passing it around the perimeter. Tough shot.
Here's Rice for 3. And the thing is that Georgia Tech's not able to control the rebounding action after those long threes either. Coming up at halftime, we'll have analysis, highlights, stats, and more. We'll review the ACC tournament bracket as it stands right now, with changes coming, all coming up on the Hardy's halftime report.
38 seconds, Steve. Excuse me. 38 seconds. Miami will play for the last shot of the half.
3-second differential there. Miami brings it up. Steve Martin here along with Eddie Fogler here in Atlanta. The Alexander Memorial Coliseum, dubbed by Brad Nessler the Thriller Dome. All the great finishes of the mid-'80s. Here comes Durant Scott.
I don't get that last possession right there. Why not play for the last shot of the half? You can score, they can't. Makes no sense to me.
Shumpert will bring it up into front court now. It'll be Georgia Tech's turn for the final shot. Mo Miller yields to Storrs. Lance Storrs came away with that sore ankle and everything. He's 11th, no matter what happens here this afternoon. So that's what they're battling for. Out front now, this is going to be Durant Scott along with Malcolm Grant. It's the backcourt combination for Miami. Adrian Thomas, who is a spark. Here comes the 3. Wow. Malcolm Grant hits the triple and puts Miami up by 10.
And asking for a foul, a tough, difficult shot. Malcolm Grant can shoot a basketball.
Lance Storrs ended this first half by spraining his ankle, then coming back onto the court and ending the half with a 3. Jason Morris steps in. Reggie Johnson has the rebound.
9 defensive rebounds for Reggie Johnson. Only 3 touches for opportunities, though, in the first half. I'll say it again, Steve. They need to go inside more. I know they're shooting well from 3, but he's got a huge advantage around the ball, around the rim, rather.
And you mentioned earlier that in the first game between the two, he didn't get many touches at all. It was something like 3 for 3 for the game. Here's Garius Adams, baseline, steps in. Too many steps. Georgia Tech's leading scorers, Shumpert with 13, Storrs with 9, and Daniel Miller with 4.
Both teams playing zone, slows the pace.
Got right into the middle of it that time. Storrs missed the easy 2. Rebound comes away to Miami.
Very few fast break opportunities in this game. Very few second chance opportunities.
Grant takes it into a seam of that zone, kicks it into the corner. Garius Adams' shot doesn't go for 3.
Might have been the best look he's had all game. Nice penetration and pitch.
Miller drives all the way down. Count the basket. It's a goaltender. Adams touched it while it was up there, and Miami's lead is trimmed to 8.
Transition penetration. Poor defense on the ball by Miami. Obvious call for the officials.
Once he touches the glass, you can't touch it.
Boy, Miami struggles with their press offense. Every possession versus the Georgia Tech press, even when they're successful, is a journey for them.
They haven't turned it over as much as the first game, where they were forced into 28 turnovers. Here's Johnson into the post, gets one-on-one with Miller, gets his own rebound, has it taken by Lance Storrs. Lance Storrs, one of 2 seniors on this team, playing for the final time on the home court. Shumpert to Mo Miller. There's the other one. Morris settles for the 3 and 1.
Jason Morris playing much better of late since he's got the start opportunity from Paul Ewert.
Here's the press, there's the steal. Here's Morris again. Back basket. And Georgia Tech is just one possession away. And the noise level cranks up in Atlanta. Garius Adams on the drive, and he is fouled on the play by Lance Storrs.
Georgia Tech foul charge to Lance Storrs, his second.
That's his second.
Adams takes the ball to the basket. This is an adventure. Daniel Miller, a center, coming up, making the steal. Good pass to the open Morris for another easy basket. Starting to look like the last 13 minutes of play when these two teams met in Miami.
That's 10 points off turnovers now for Georgia Tech as Adams hits the foul shot. Miami, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the ACC at 73%. Miller comes out. Adams makes the second free throw. ACC championship game in Greensboro today. It is Duke beating North Carolina 81-66. So congratulations to the Duke women's team as they are the ACC champions. Men's get their turn starting Thursday. It's the Jason Morris show. 3 straight baskets by Jason Morris. 2-point Miami lead, and as Eddie said, it's an adventure right now against this press. Georgia Tech with a wind at their back right now. This is Scott. Has the ball. No, stolen. Mo Miller. 3-on-2. Miller's shot blocked by Johnson. Turned over. Storrs with the steal. Morris tied for his 4th. Holsey with the rebound.
Crowd really getting into it here too.
They really are.
Nice patience now in the offensive rebound for Georgia Tech to settle down here.
Adams knocks the ball out of bounds, and Georgia Tech is drawn to within 2 with 8 unanswered points on the Miami Hurricanes. Timeout on the court in Atlanta. To pick Georgia Tech up and pull them within 2 points of Miami. Julian Gamble now replaces Reggie Johnson in the middle of that Miami zone. Miller. Ball thrown into backcourt. And it's going to be Miami ball on the turnover.
Miami basketball.
For Georgia Tech, that is going to be their 9th turnover of this game. We've had 20 turnovers now, 11 for Miami and 9 now for Georgia Tech. However, Georgia Tech has 10 points off turnovers to Miami's 7. Malcolm Grant. To the block, then out to Brown. His 3 is strong. Storrs with the rebound for Georgia Tech. Shumpert for 3. And Ryan Brown comes up with a rebound. His dad, Tico Brown, played here at Georgia Tech. He's a star for 3 years. Ooh, in trouble was Scott. The tip up and in by Gamble.
Gamble on the weak side with a lefty tip in, had very good position, nudged the defender under the basket, created the space for the weak side rebound.
41-37. Inside, here's Shumpert on the quick pass from Mo Miller.
Georgia Tech in their zone offense sneaks different players to the high post foul line area. That's where they want to go, and it is a great place to have the ball versus zone.
It's been 14 minutes since Shumpert has scored. It's his first bucket since that time. Gamble in the low post, turns on Holsey, steps through and got fouled. If you're heading to Greensboro for the ACC tournament, make sure you check out ACC Fan Fest in the pavilion next to the Coliseum. Now, this event is free, complete with interactive games, corporate partner attractions, giveaways, and fun for the entire family. It's a big part of the ACC tournament. ACC Fan Fest. Visit theacc.com for more details. And now Miami not only struggles trying to get the ball in the backcourt, they'd struggle in their own front court area against pressure. Timeout on the court. Frank Hates Crew, they lead Georgia Tech by 2.
This aisle isn't big enough for 2 zeros.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Is that all you got?
I'm up to my knees in 0 calories. Pepsi to the max, so let's drink all of these. Snoop! Pepsi Max. Too much taste to be called a 0.
No matter what team you're rooting for, your favorite lineup is always your family. So when you add a new member to your team, you want to make sure they're covered with the rest of your loved ones.
Many performances in the Greensboro area, local theater groups. An accomplished singer, and he will sing on demand at the tournament.
Huh.
He's a regular Cliff Ellis. Julian Campbell down into the post. They'll swing it out, and Malcolm Grant lost the handle in mid-shot. Turnover for Miami, and now Georgia Tech has a chance to tie or take the lead on a triple. We've had 12 of those, 6 aside. Adrian Thomas comes out. And coming in is Daquan Jones. Jones had a great turnaround last year, but he suffered out of 7 games this year. He was out with a broken hand.
See if Georgia Tech continues to try to hit the high post and then play out of the high post. You can go low, weak side. It's a great place to put the basketball.
Here's Shumpert. Takes the 3 that misses everything. It goes out of bounds. It's going to be Miami ball.
That's a poor shot, poor possession, no penetration, no skip pass. Ball doesn't get to the high post. Contested three-pointer for Georgia Tech.
Against pressure now, Gamble comes up and gets the inbounds. And now the Yellow Jackets relax it. That can be sometimes as disconcerting as keeping it on.
Georgia Tech back man out of the timeout.
Juan Jones up front with a hurried jumper. Daniel Miller gets the rebound. Shumpert now working his way around the top of the defense. Nice skip to Jason Morris. Pass down intended for Miller, was stolen by Ryan. And here is the ball lost out of bounds off Brian Brown. He got the steal, and then the ball came right back to him, and he knocked it out of bounds.
It got blocked, and then Brown touches it right at the end. No call here, and the ball goes back off. You can't see it on the replay, but it hits him as he's falling down. Good call by Sean Carbon.
Ball thrown out of bounds. Shumpert went for Storrs where he used to be. Another turnover here for Georgia Tech. So they get sloppy between these two here as we get to the midway point, or try to get there anyway. Shumpert comes out.
There's a difference between the kind of turnovers you can have forced, which you give the defense credit for, and that can happen, but the unforced, where the offense creates its own problem, is what you try to eliminate as a coach. That obviously was an unforced turnover by Georgia Tech.
Malcolm Grant will bring it up in the front court, the junior out of Brooklyn. Transfer from Villanova to Adrian Thomas. He gets his paws on that ball. High screen for Gamble. The throw back to Thomas. He tried to get it back to the post and turns it over. Udofia. Quick ball movement to the corner. Storrs for 3. No. Storrs ended the first half with a 3 after going out 2 minutes earlier with a sprained ankle. And it had a change in the score here and released 3 possessions. This is Brown. He'll drop it off now inside to Daquan Jones, blocked by Daniel Miller. And the ball lost out of bounds. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. Timeout on the court, 11:56 left to play in this second half. Miami by 2. Daniel Miller at work inside defensively.
Bobby Cremins at College of Charleston won the regular season Southern Conference Championship, still alive in the SoCon tournament.
Wrapping up there in Chattanooga today, aren't they?
That's correct.
Here's Storrs. Hits to the baseline, fades and misses. We haven't had any points in the last 2.5 minutes. Georgia Tech now 0 for 3 with 2 turnovers. Miami 0 for 3 with 2 turnovers over the last 2.5 minutes of the game.
Poor shot by Storrs coming out of a timeout. Sometimes I wonder why young men take shots that they don't practice. That is not a shot, Steve, that you would take in any shooting drill that I've ever seen by any college coach.
And that means this game, as it stands right now, won't get into the ACC video vault.
Not particularly. By the way, Georgia Tech, before that shot, had taken 23 threes of 36 attempts. Wow.
And that's what Miami's zone will force you to do if you can't get the ball inside. If there's anywhere where Georgia Tech is somewhat weak, it's offense in the paint. Shumpert has to drive in there and get it. Here's Johnson as they break the press. And as Eddie said, it's been an adventure for Miami.
Why wouldn't you throw the ball up to a 6'10" guy instead of bounce passing the ball in?
Score hasn't budged in over 3 minutes. Into the post they go to Johnson. He'll turn. He gets triple teamed and kick the ball out. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. Third straight turnover now for Miami.
Well, Reggie Johnson is confused, very confused here today by the double teaming defense of Georgia Tech. Every time he catches it, Reggie needs to make a very quick move to score. Or to realize he's going to be doubled, Steve. There's going to be an open man on the perimeter. He needs to kick the ball out to the open player.
14 turnovers all told for Miami, 11 for Georgia Tech. Storrs rolls into the lane. Morris will come in. They're not looking to score inside. They're looking to throw it out off penetration.
Well, again, they have no low post game, really. Daniel Miller is about the only one, but he's not comfortable in low yet as well.
5 on the shot clock, first score in 4 minutes. And Georgia Tech is back in front since it was 14-11 in the first half.
It's an adventure. Here we go.
Ryan Brown can't get to it. Miller has a piece of it, and finally, Iman Shumpert comes away with it. Up in the front court, here's Storrs. Georgia Tech hasn't had a chance to build the lead since it was 14-5. And then Miami had them under assault with a 12-point run.
Steve, one of the best ways to beat a press is to get the ball out quickly and attack the press before it sets up. Miami lets the ball bounce around, and it permits Georgia Tech to get its defense set. Shumpert's three.
Not strong enough. We got a whistle and a loose ball foul is going to be charged to Jason Morris. Morris has had a strong second half.
Well, the ball screen out top, the skip pass to Morris, and he's getting comfortable when he gets his feet set, squaring up to the basket. That young man is playing much more confidently, growing as a freshman.
He's got to come out with his third foul now and leaves with 8 points. And most of them here in the second half. And Glenn Rice Jr. comes back out onto the court. Limited minutes for Rice, who for the 5th straight game is not a starter. And now Miami tries to run the baseline when they didn't have it.
Well, it was a dead ball possession. You cannot run the baseline on a dead ball, out of bounds possession. Typically, the official will tell you it's a spot throw, which it was. However, Miami runs the baseline. Same thing as walking, turnover.
15 for Miami now. 5 turnovers, in fact, in the last 8 possessions for the Hurricanes. Georgia Tech on top on one with the ball facing the zone. They get it in, then out. Shumpert trying to get the tip. Rice gets involved, and now we got a little altercation, Johnson and Rice.
Well, you don't want anything dumb here to take place. Next game for these two teams is in the Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament. Surely you don't want a player to be suspended for that particular game, or any game for that matter.
Roger Ayers trying to calm down Reggie Johnson. Frank Haith couldn't come down really because the ball was at the other end of the court. Paul Hewitt got a hold of Glenn Rice, and the officials will gather to figure out what to do here. Here's what caused it.
And battling for the ball and kind of getting tied up. But Johnson looks like he grabs Rice's shorts. We have two players there who are both struggling here today, frustrated to begin with, going after it. Could have been a foul right there, and that's a war for the ball. And you can see right there Johnson grabbing Rice's shorts.
Roger Ayers right there. Let's watch it again.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Looking to see maybe if an elbow was thrown there, Steve.
And an elbow above the shoulders. And if it's above the shoulders, then you're looking at a foul of a little bigger magnitude here for Reggie Johnson.
Roger Ayers explaining it to both coaches. Very strong officiating crew here today.
Sean Corbin, Brian Dorsey, and Roger Ayers. Thanks.
The call on the floor is a jump ball. Possession arrow to 10.
Nothing flagrant, just a jump ball. Possession arrow now goes to Georgia Tech. So good piece of officiating right there. Inbounds it comes now to Georgia Tech's Lance Storrs. Shumpert, the star of the first half. Jason Morris has been the star of the second. Daniel Miller. Short pass into Rice. He'll dump to Shumpert, and we got a whistle. And here comes a technical foul against Reggie Johnson. And Brian Dorsey didn't hesitate. And Frank Haith is not disputing.
Well, the dump down pass, and Johnson with the bump here. Right there, kind of pushes him out with his knee a little bit. A little over aggressive. That's a frustrated young man getting double teamed every time he catches the ball, putting it down, getting it tipped away, starting to lose his cool. The nice dump down by Rice to Shumpert. Shumpert fumbles the ball, Steve, but right at the end there with the knee. I think that's a good call by this strong officiating crew.
So a technical foul, which also counts as a personal foul.
Of course, it doesn't help Johnson that he's coming off the previous possession where he and Rice got into almost a pushing and shouting match.
Mo Miller to the foul line. A dead ball, officially a dead ball contact technical foul. And Miller makes the free throw. He gets one more. Georgia Tech up 3. And possession now to the Yellow Jackets as well. So costly possession.
Steve, Miami only with 7 points, I believe, in the second half.
That's right.
Wow.
34 at halftime, a 10-2 Georgia Tech run. They're in the lead by 3. The stakes are high for Miami. They win, they lock up 7th. They lose, a lot of different things can happen. Here's Storrs for 3. 47-41, Georgia Tech.
Run the baseline, get it out quick, Miami, or run the baseline. Doing neither versus the pressing defenses of Georgia Tech.
They'll get this one into front court, maybe. Scott having to deal with it on Shumpert. Darius Adams. There's not a lot of skip passes. Inside it goes to Gamble, and he'll flush it.
Ball screen creates the breakdown. Easy play. Good flush by Gamble. Johnson now on the bench. He probably will be there for a while.
Inside pass to Miller. Foul on Gamble. So both teams match dunks at the 8:22 mark. That's 6 for Daniel Miller.
That pass went right through a 2-3 zone at the beginning of the possession. That can't happen defensively. Look at this. Nobody active, nobody moving their feet, nobody with active hands in the 2-3 zone for Miami. And Miami's look on their faces, Steve, is just 5 guys bewildered. Struggling, turning it over on the offensive end, giving up too many easy baskets on the defensive end.
The foul's on Gamble. That's going to be his second. And Daniel Miller goes to the free throw line for the 3-point play. Miller giving a glimpse as and Let's see. Glenn Rice may have succeeded in getting it off Miami and maintaining possession of the ball, or did he? No. It's going to be Miami ball.
Now, this is a spot throw. Miami cannot run the baseline. It's a difficult throw in here, but you got to get a bid to come to the ball. You can always throw it over the top.
Home run pass, Darius Adams. He slipped as he went to hook the way up in. Wow.
Well, you have a nice run out. Good set play.
My goodness. Udofia. Ball movement has gotten better here for Georgia Tech. There's a skip diagonal out to the top. Here's Lance Storrs. 3 ball. Georgia Tech. 52-43. Storrs with 15 on senior day. Got a foul in backcourt against Georgia Tech. It's going to be on Canny and holds it. A little too aggressive on that press, but it's working. And once again, it's rattled Miami. The emotions are high. Reggie Johnson picks up a tee. And Georgia.
So I think Tar Heel fans at that point said, will we make the tournament?
Let alone take the top seed.
Right, and here we go again for Miami. It is what's stronger than adventure to try to get the ball in bounds versus press. I'm not sure what that word is.
That's 17 turnovers now. This half, 25-9 in favor of Georgia Tech, who trailed by 7 in intermission. They're now up by 9.
25-9 here in the second half. Georgia Tech.
Here's Shumpert. He had a strong first half. He has 1 basket here in the second half. Reggie Johnson is back on the floor, and the crowd's giving it to him every time he touches the ball. He caught a technical and got in a near altercation with Glenn Rice. He has the ball down low. Turns, pivots, gets up, and in.
Well, didn't put the ball down on the floor that time. He's been putting it down and getting it tipped by Georgia Tech defenders. Good pivot, good footwork there by Reggie Johnson.
Very nice footwork. Shumpert at the top. 7 to play in the second half. Georgia Tech looking to atone for a loss at Miami by 2 on February 3rd.
Miami now man-to-man, 2 possessions in a row. First time they have played 2 straight possessions of man.
Daniel Miller traveled with the ball. Turnover for Georgia Tech. Want the latest info on your favorite ACC teams? Then check out the new team pages section of the ACC.com, brought to you by Toyota. For content you can't find anywhere else, visit the ACC.com. Steve Martin here along with Eddie Fogler in Atlanta, the regular season finale here. Our scores today: Boston College a winner, so is Kentucky in the SEC. And we got a whistle. Offensive foul against Miami. Malcolm Grant got the first down, but that doesn't matter.
That's called out of control. I have no idea what Malcolm Graham was thinking on that drive to the basket. How about you, Steve? Can you read his mind on that decision?
Not with 2 Georgia Tech players in the vicinity. I can't come up with it. He has 2 points, and he'll get the seat next to Frank Hay for a few minutes.
Frank's trying everything, moving players in or out. Can't find a combination that can get some good decision making into their game.
They had a 21-point lead in their game at Miami and saw it all dwindle down. Georgia Tech had a chance to win down there. They forced 28 turnovers. Right now they forced Miami into 18 so far. And here's an offensive foul. A clear out with the elbow by Jason Morris. He quickly picks up a foul after coming back in. That's going to be 4.
Steve, this is on 1 pass. Morris trying to drive the ball from 35 feet out on 1 pass. Typically good offense. You want 3-4 quick passes, move the defense, no dribbling, and then you begin to see what you can get offensively. To drive it that far out on 1 pass is not sound offense.
Morris has to come out with his 4th foul now. Glenn Rice is back in. Shumpert, Rice, Storrs, who has a career high on senior day at the Thriller Dome. Here's the full court pressure. Duran Scott hot-foots it into front court. Ryan Brown to the baseline. He falls and travels with the ball. That's the second Miami player to fall en route to a baseline move. The first was a wide open pass to Darius Adams. That area of the court's more slippery than others, but it's victimized Miami here. All right, the ball boy gets a hand. They'll start taking this building apart, all but the roof and the supports, to make room for the new facility, the McCamish Pavilion. Up front, Mo Miller with the three. Timeout, Georgia Tech, as they have stepped to their biggest lead of the game, 10, with 6:10 remaining in this second half. Miami calls this timeout. Here's the three.
Daniel Miller, nice vision to pass it out to the wide open Mo Miller. If you're Miami, why even bother double team Miller at the low post? Georgia Tech shooting a lot of threes here today. Ought to guard the three-point line better.
Want to see highlights of ACC basketball? Check out the Haviland ACC basketball highlights, now online each week. You can view action from ACC Network telecast and other archived video. Log on to the ACC.com for these clips and more from around the ACC. This is the largest Georgia Tech lead. The ACC Network's coverage of the granddaddy of them all. The ACC tournament begins Thursday, March 10th at high noon. Join Mike Hogwood and all the crew in Greensboro for all of the tournament goings on and the games. Then with a big day on Thursday afternoon. Reggie Johnson, and here's more uneasy time for Miami. With 18 turnovers this afternoon, they get it into front court. They have 6 minutes to dissolve a 10-point deficit. Brown feeds Johnson in the post. The double is late coming, and Miller blocked it. It's off Miami. It'll be Georgia Tech ball.
Well, this time Johnson spins, but he doesn't elevate up. He's off balance. Daniel Miller is becoming a shot blocking presence around the basket.
That's his third of the afternoon. Comes at a very good time for Georgia Tech. Shumpert. Daniel Miller playing some pretty good basketball this afternoon. Here's Glenn Rice. Georgia Tech can afford to take their time, but they can't afford to turn the ball over. And they say it went off Miami, so Georgia Tech maintains possession with 12 on the shot clock. Boston College with their win over Wake Forest. They lock up 5th place. Clemson's got 4th. Virginia Tech falls into the 6th position. Just 8 days after their dramatic win over Duke. Shumpert with 6 on the shot clock.
Shot clock running down, high post ball screens. Most teams in college basketball run that play. Miami not alert, guarding the ball screen. I'm a believer, Steve. When in doubt, switch, cover the ball.
Georgia Tech, quite a run, 20-4. Durant Scott misses the shot. Johnson gets the rebound, and he'll get fouled. Daniel Miller will pick up the foul. We've got a player injured out there, and it looks like it's Shumpert. Getting up a little slow. That could be, if Paul Hewitt holds his breath on that. This young man has had quite a season, as Eddie pointed out. The most improved in the ACC, going from 10 points to 17 a game.
Surely will be on any all ACC defensive team. You know, the offensive numbers are terrific, but his ability to deflect, guard the ball, anticipate passes.
You know, when we go back to that player of the year, I mean, he's a guy you could consider. Of course, you also have to look at what the positioning of his team is right now at 11th. Nolan Smith's team, number 2 in the ACC going into the ACC tournament. Closed captioning for today's telecast provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. And it's about time that Miami hit a free throw here. Not to be. Rice boards the miss. Georgia Tech with a 12-point edge, and the clock now starting to work against the Hurricane. Mo Miller. Shumpert drives. Johnson with a miss. Scott, high dribble, lost the handle. The ACC's leader in steals has done it again. Shumpert, no. Eric Swope into the ballgame for the first time this afternoon, comes up with a rebound. Here comes Durant Scott. Good defense by the Yellow Jackets. The throw out, though, is captured by Darius Adams. It's getting desperate time here for the Hurricanes. Darius Adams, the three, no. Swope with the rebound. We've got a foul on the play. And it's going to be charged to Georgia Tech. Timeout on the court. Lots of emotion in the last day in the Thriller Dome. This building closes when we're done this afternoon, and Georgia Tech wants to make it.
Very nice renovated facility.
It is.
That Coach K houses.
Shot by Swope off the foul line, no good in the front half of the 1-and-1. Georgia Tech with 17 fouls, and foul shots in the bonus category are going to count heavily here for Miami in their comeback attempt. But time is becoming a factor. Daniel Miller. 3 blocks, 6 points. Strong game for him.
High post ball screen for Shumpert. Clock running down.
And a foul coming up on Miami. The foul is going to be charged to Ryan Brown. A reminder that this broadcast is a copyright presentation of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and any use of this broadcast without the permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Raycom Sports is prohibited. Steve Martin here along with Eddie Fogler in Atlanta. The Miami Hurricanes trying to better their 9th ranking in the ACC right now. A win here gets them to 7th, but time's a wasting for that. They're down 12. Georgia Tech will open tournament play in the 11th spot.
I like what Georgia Tech's doing here, running a little clock. No need to force. Then you have Shumpert at the end of each possession. Probably another high post ball screen by Miller. Here it comes.
Shumpert, hands off, 8 on the shot clock. Ball deflected near midcourt. Here's Mo Miller down the lane. The runner is off. Malcolm Grant comes out of there. Good transition defense. Turnover. Rice picks it up. Foils a fast break attempt. Might have been the last chance to construct a run here for Miami.
Second half here for Miami. Very, very poor performance, being outscored 30-11. Only 11 points in the second half for Miami. That's their 21st turnover of the game.
Got a timeout on the court with 2:32 left to go. Call by Georgia Tech here as the Yellow Jackets are looking ahead to where they could be in the ACC field. Let's take a look at our game recap. In the first half, Iman Shumpert got things off rolling. He had 13 of Georgia Tech's first 16 points.
Well, he was doing it in all sorts of ways, Steve. Hit the 3, hit a mid-range jump shot, the flex balls for steals, and Adrian Thomas for Miami got off to a very good start as well. A terrific 3-point shooter, but Miami, quite frankly, has been a no-show here in the second half.
Second half, Jason Morris, the freshman, scored on 3 straight possessions.
Nice inside-outside. Again, Georgia Tech gets the ball to the middle of the zone defense.
Well, we got a little raucous play there, and Reggie Johnson's in the middle of it. He picked up a tee on that dead ball contact.
And Reggie Johnson basically a non-factor here today. He's defensive rebounded the ball very well, but has not been able to score or create any low post presence for Miami.
Well, the timeout situation. Hurricanes have some fouls to give here, and the possession arrow to their favor, but the score isn't. They're down 12 with 2:32 left to play. Georgia Tech, they're locked in the 11th spot, and so is Virginia Tech in 6th. Those two teams split during the regular season. Iman Shumpert got a triple-double in the game played here in Atlanta, which the Yellow Jackets won. Rice out along the perimeter now, and Georgia Tech content to use the clock. We got a whistle and a foul inside, and the foul's going to be charged to Durant Scott.
Miami foul charge to number 25, Darius.
Georgia Tech, unlike Miami, they either win big or they lose big. Points margin in wins plus 24, in losses minus 12. And right now they are up 12 here with 2:17 to play. Looking for their 5th win of the season in ACC play. We got a whistle and a foul here, a little knee thrown in there by Durant Scott.
And with this win here today, Georgia Tech will be on a 2-game win streak going into the tournament, Steve. Plus, they get Brian Oliver back for the tournament, who's been out the past few games with an injury. So Georgia Tech with some good momentum going into the tournament here next weekend.
You're right, Oliver fractured his thumb on his non-shooting hand. And he is scheduled to come back. Another foul coming up. Georgia Durant Scott with 3 fouls. The 3-ball has been big for Georgia Tech this afternoon.
Well, very big, and it's surprising because Georgia Tech has not shot the ball well from 3. They're 12th in the league in 3-point field goal percent defense, but that is not the case here today in Atlanta. A huge part of their offense with little inside game. The Yellow Jackets lighting it up from 3.
Shumpert with the free throw. He has 18 on the afternoon. He had 13 of Georgia Tech's first 16 points in this game. And has only scored 2 field goals here in the second half. Gets the foul shot. 19 for Shumpert. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. Durant Scott in the front court. Ryan Brown takes the 3 from the wing. Miami needs a slew of them here to get back in this thing, and it may be still too late. They're down 14. Here's a backcourt foul on Adrian Thomas. Miami's got some fouls to give here. They have not scored since it was 7-12. They've gone at least 6 minutes without a score in this second half, and they're stuck at 45. Is the 18th foul now on Miami. I thought they had a foul to give. They do not. And 1-on-1 coming up. Front half of the 1-on-1 miss. So door's still open for Miami. They got to step through it though. Scott inside draws the foul. Miami to deploy this foul strategy here, Eddie. They get the foul at the other end, the miss on the 1-on-1, and they get a chance to go to the line on their end of the court.
Miami certainly needs to press on anything made, see if they can get a 5-second count violation, steal, easy basket. If not, they're going to have to foul Georgia Tech.
Now the implications, if Miami is not able to win here today, their fate rests in the hands of NC State playing at home against Florida State tonight. As we understand it, Miami right now currently is the 9th seed in the tournament. The loss keeps them there, and NC State win pushes them to 10th. Storrs in backcourt. Miami putting some pressure on. Shumpert facing the double team. Mo Miller breaks it. And here's a foul out front by Ryan Brown. It's the 19th foul on Miami with 1:25 left to go. The lead is 12.
Smart play by Georgia Tech. They handle, first of all, Steve, they handle the press very well, get people to the right spots in their press offense, and then they get the ball to Mo Miller, who's only shooting 88.7% from the foul line. So that's good execution by Paul Hewitt's Yellow Jackets on that particular play.
You got Storrs out there, who hasn't had many foul shots, but he's hit all that he's had. Shumpert's at 81%.
And I jinxed him. You jinxed him in the first half. I got him in the second half, Steve.
And we have an officiating situation here. That was a 1-on-1. And nobody went for the rebound. They thought it was a 2-shot foul. It is not. It's a 1-on-1. He missed the front half. And it's officially a jump ball and a possession arrow for Miami.
And it's officially neither team very alert as to what the situation was.
Miami gets the ball. but they're down 12 with only 1:19 remaining. Ryan Brown takes the three. Rebound comes back down to Quan Jones, sets up Duran Scott for the three ball. And a timeout called by Miami to stop the clock with a 1:05 left. They're down 9. Let's take a look at our Pepsi players of the game. Adrian Thomas leading scorer for a Miami team that was starved offensively this afternoon. And Lance Storrs, a career high 15.7 rebounds. Injures his ankle in the first half. Then trots back on the court, drills a three, goes back to the locker room at halftime. Our Pepsi players of the game, a career high for Lance Storrs on senior day, his final day in a Georgia Tech uniform in Atlanta, at least. Yellow Jackets lead by 9, Eddie, and now it's the foul strategy here for Miami as you laid out. And they got to make every shot, and they got to force turnovers in a hurry.
Obviously, you've got good free throw shooters in. Daniel Miller out for Georgia Tech. Storrs can run the baseline here. It's not a spot throw. Any problem for Storrs, he needs to take a timeout, not take the 5-second violation.
They have 2 timeouts remaining here. Shumpert in backcourt. Miller into the middle of the floor. And Miller kind of waits dangerously in backcourt to draw the foul. Defense was where Georgia Tech probably won this game. I know they got a lot of threes, but they did a good job, D.
Well, Miami had too many turnovers, but a lot of them were caused by a very active Georgia Tech defense, Steve, that again leads the ACC in steals and turnover margin. Georgia Tech very athletic, very quick. And then you see Daniel Miller, who's not overly fast or quick, but he has very good anticipation and savvy for the game. Even Daniel Miller has the ability to come up with steals and deflections.
Came up with a couple, and he had 3 blocked shots as well. Here's Mo Miller on the line. Somebody from Miami, when Miller gets the ball cocked up there and ready to fire, they let out a yelp. Brave people.
Paul Hewitt, offensive defensive substitution, takes Morris out and brings back Daniel Miller, the shot blocker around the basket.
Mo Miller defies the screen and hits the shot, 61-50, and he's wondering, that's happening on my floor? Duran Scott over Rice for 3. It's 2. He hit the 2. It's 61-52 with 49 seconds left to go. Miller again. This time he's fouled again by Duran Scott. Well, from humble beginnings in 1954, when Everett Case and NC State won the very first ACC title, the last year's winner, Duke, the ACC tournament has become the granddaddy of all tournaments, as the late Jim Valvano said. Be sure to mark the calendar. ACC Network starts your coverage on Thursday at noon and takes you through the championship game on Sunday. For more information on the tournament, go to theacc.com. Of course, Duke has 18 titles, North Carolina 17, Georgia Tech has 3. And Miami will be looking for their first.
Steve, that last basket by Miami, Georgia Tech jumps out of bounds with the ball, not giving Miami's defense a chance to set. Ultimately, there Miami has no chance to steal the inbounds pass. I like what Paul Hewitt's doing with his press offense, getting the ball out quickly after scores.
Mo Miller with 11 on his final day here in the Thriller Dome, which closes after this game. The McCamish Pavilion starts construction tomorrow.
To me, it's a nice statement, or a big statement by Dan Radakovich and Georgia Tech toward their commitment for basketball to put a $45 million renovation into this building. Says basketball is very important here at Georgia Tech.
Certainly does. And of course, Georgia Tech will play its conference home games at Phillips Arena, the site of next year's ACC tournament.
Also already built a very nice practice facility that attaches on here to Alexander Memorial Coliseum, where they will practice next year.
Now the Alexander name will not disappear. It'll be they'll get a park actually adjacent to the McCamish Pavilion, which will be called the William Anderson Alexander Park. Alexander, of course, was head football coach 1920 to 1944 here. Rice misses his second free throw. 63-52, half minute to go. Georgia Tech stuns Miami in the closing game here at the Thriller Dome. DeQuan Jones hits the lay-in. It's a 9-point lead. Frank Haith will play this out to the finish here, calling the timeout on the hope that his team get a steal, get a basket. Let's take a look at the tournament brackets right now. Miami's in that 9th spot if they lose. They could go to 10th if NC State beats Florida State and flip-flop with the Wolfpack. That would put the Wolfpack up against Virginia in the first round of the tournament. Given what Virginia's done this season, beating Maryland on the regular season finale and some of the upset wins that they've had, they're probably a team you might want to avoid in the first round of the tournament.
I would agree, Steve. Of course, tournaments upsets are going to happen. Losing here today, as you look at that bracket, Miami, then, if they're able to win their first round game, get the red-hot North Carolina Tar Heels, I don't think anybody wants to play the Tar Heels right now. And kudos to Roy Williams and his team and staff for another regular season championship.
What a turnaround. And the apocalypse took place on this floor. I mean, they lost by 20, and everybody wondered what's going on with North Carolina. And then, of course, the Larry Drew defection, and then all of a sudden it became Kendrick Marshall's team, and he has done a very nice job with it and has been able to find Harrison Barnes at the right moment, and Harrison Barnes has been able to find big-time baskets like the one he used against Florida State last week. Georgia Tech facing pressure, and here's the foul in backcourt, and Mo Miller's going to spend the last couple of minutes of his career in this building on the foul line. Adrian Thomas commits the foul here. 63-54. It'll be interesting to see when you look at the other side of the bracket. Of course, North Carolina is the top team. Duke usually rejuvenates itself for the ACC tournament. And there's a lot to play for every team up and down the line. The teams that will have to win the tournament or at least play at least 3 games to get into the NCAA. And then there are others like Duke and North Carolina that will try to manipulate the seeds.
Absolutely. You know, matchups are crucial in any tournament. And even the regular season here, it's apparent to me that Georgia Tech is a bad matchup for Miami. Miami is an error-prone team playing against maybe the most active pressing team in the league, and Georgia Tech seems to me to have Miami's number.
Up and under does it go. 16 seconds left to go, and this game's going to go in Georgia Tech's column, and Miller gets a chance to lay it in. 66-54 with 10 to play. And the Yellow Jackets will put a successful punctuation mark on the story of Alexander Memorial Coliseum. The Thriller Dome. The last game in it won by the home team. Paul Hewitt's team will go into the tournament 11th. They've won their last 2 on a hot streak going in, and they win over Miami by 9.
Hey, would you mind if I asked Sheila out?
Of course not. We broke up 6 months ago. But I don't think she'd go for a guy like...
She said she'd love to. She can't wait to see me. Really? She's wanted me to ask her out for over a year now. She just sent me a video.
Oh, can I see that?
Yeah.